Hi everyone. Today I'm going to discuss the best settings to use for recording gameplay with an nVidia card. This guide primarily focuses on the RTX series cards, but I'll also provide some information for older cards. Keep in mind that results may vary with different card models. To effectively learn how to record gameplay, it's important to understand the underlying technologies and how to apply them. Over the years, I've dedicated a significant amount of time to researching encoding, particularly due to my need to re-encode various types of videos. When it comes to game recording, the goal is to utilize as few system resources as possible while maintaining maximum quality. For illustration purposes, let's use the example scenario of GTA5, which is not only the most popular game ever, but also continues to challenge modern systems. Given its familiarity, it will be easier to relate to and enjoy. The scenario GTA5 game recording. So, you want to upload some cool footage of you and your friends playing your favorite game, only to be plagued by stuttery recording or poor quality, blurry video. Fear not, my friends, because nVidia has your back and has been doing so for quite a while now. They have constantly improved their technology to keep up with new resolutions, frame rates, and the increasing levels of complexity in both image and colors. The solution? nVidia. First, it's important to minimize frame time variance as much as possible within GTA5. To achieve this, the easiest way is to install MSI Afterburner and display the frame time graph in the overlay while in-game. When it comes to recording, having smooth frame times is more crucial than having intricate scene details. If frame times are not smooth, you won't be able to appreciate the scene details anyway. Once you've correctly set the graphics options, you'll never want to turn off GTA5. For optimal graphics settings in GTA5, while this guide isn't specifically about configuring GTA5, I'll briefly go over my settings as it may help others. GTA5 is a challenging game to maintain stable frame times. The main issue lies in the diverse environment. Just when you think you've nailed down frame variance, you move into a new area, and everything changes. On my personal machine, an Asus TUF with an i7-11100H, GeForce RTX 3060, and a 1TB drive, I experience struggles with shadows, particularly with nVidia PCSS. This is a common issue with most nVidia cards. Another problematic area is grass. There are even jokes about the grass developers creating all the foliage while the rest of the team was out for lunch. The impact from very high to ultra settings is significant. Personally, I keep all the advanced options enabled, use 410's MSAA, and disable FXAA. If you have a 144 Hz panel, it's advisable to switch it down to 120 Hz and enable VSync using the half refresh rate option. This will lock the game to 60 FPS, but allow your panel to operate at 120 Hz, improving pixel response times, although these benefits won't be noticeable in the recording. Recording at 120 FPS is not recommended, as it would require sacrificing too much quality to avoid overloading the ASIC. What is NVENC? NVENC stands for NVIDIA encoder. So it is a dedicated ASIC chip where ASIC stands for application-specific integrated circuit. Essentially, it is an integrated chip attached to your GPU. Each series of GPUs has the same ASIC for encoding and decoding, with the only exception being the 10 and 30 series cards. Some members of these series, namely the 1050 and 3050, do not have the dedicated chip for encoding. If you have these cards, you won't be able to record using the dedicated chip. On the other hand, AMD has its own variant called AMF, which is more resource hungry than NVENC and can increase system load by up to 25%. So everything is perfect. How do I record? To record your game with more control and customization options, consider using alternative software instead of nVidia's Shadow Play. Some popular options include OBS Studio, XSplit Gamecaster, Bandicam, and DxTory. These software provide advanced features such as customizable video and audio settings, scene transitions, and support for multiple audio sources. Explore these options to find the one that suits your needs and preferences. Shadowplay is an application developed by NVIDIA that allows you to record gameplay using the dedicated NVENC ASIC for hardware video encoding. It performs real-time conversion of the gameplay footage from a RAW format to formats like H.264, H.265, .HEVC. There is some confusion regarding Shadowplay's compatibility with X265, but it's important to note that all RTX cards from the 20 series and onward are capable of recording in HEVC. While some may mistakenly believe that HEVC is the same as HT4ABC, the card will record in the native codec for that specific chip, which is the latest and most detailed codec available. Since the 20 series cards, Shadowplay has been recording in H.265, which is the desired and recommended setting. Shadowplay intentionally provides minimal options to avoid overwhelming casual players who simply want to record gameplay, making it less suitable for regular or professional recording purposes. What is the best alternative? OBS Studio is widely regarded as one of the best video capture software options available. It offers support for various hardware encoders and boasts a lightweight framework allowing for undetected recording. From the NVIDIA perspective, we've been discussing OBS Studio can utilize NVENC for encoding purposes. This means that high frame rates, large resolutions, HDR, and other visually appealing features are all compatible with OBS Studio. The software is incredibly popular among content creators for video capture. You can find a download link for OBS Studio in the description. How does OBS record? OBS natively communicates with the ASIC encoder of your choosing. Intel provides QuickSync. AMD has AMF, and nVidia has NVENC. Additionally, you can opt to render the recording via software on your CPU or through CUDA on your GPU. It's important to note that using these options for gaming will impact system performance. Overloading the ASIC encoder will also utilize system resources. Always record in the native resolution of the game, not your monitor's resolution. In my case, it is 2560 by 1440, also known as 2K, QHD, or 1440p. A 30 series encoder should be capable of capturing 4K at 60 FPS, so we should be able to achieve high quality at decent frame rates when recording 1440p footage, as the encoder should have enough resources to spare. At 1080p, the settings can be even more aggressive with higher frame rates and levels of quality. Just like a CPU or GPU, the encoder has an assigned task and custom architecture for that task. Depending on your desired frame rate and resolution, it will affect the level of quality preset you select. At 1440p or 60 FPS, using the P5 slow, good quality preset leads to butter smooth recording. The most important aspect is not to overload the encoder, so set the bitrate high enough to prevent excessive compression. If file size is not a concern, it can be addressed later in an application like Handbrake, where multiple passes in time are not an issue. For now, our focus is on quality, which means a larger file size. At 1440p, 60 FPS, a bitrate of 130 to 140 megabits per second should work perfectly fine. When tuning for high quality, it has minimal impact on the encoder. Multipass mode is great for retaining detail, but can be resource intensive. At 1440p, per 60 sine of PS, it's okay to use this mode at quarter resolution. We will discuss the profile settings later as it pertains to another section of recording. Both look-ahead and psychovisual tuning should be enabled, as they help reduce overall file size. I recommend recording in CBR mode instead of GQP or VBR modes, as the latter two can lead to stuttering due to fluctuations in bit rates and frame rates in order to save data. CBR allows the entire bitrate to be available, and while it uses more space, it prevents stuttering when there are rapid changes from slow to fast scenes, as the necessary resources are readily available. Regarding fast changing scenes, the keyframe interval should be set to the lowest setting of 1Z. nVidia recommends 2 to ensure as many full frames as possible, resulting in higher file size but better quality. If this recording were to be transcoded, the inverse would be true, as B-frames can save a lot of data. Keyframes can be considered as complete photos, while B-frames contain the same data, but arranged differently and with some additional data from the next keyframe. Transmitting the same data twice can lead to artifacts, so setting the keyframe interval as low as possible, the lowest setting in OBS is 1, helps minimize artifacts. B-frames work well at 4, also recommended by nVidia, but in this situation, even lower settings are not necessary. I play in HDR. Can I capture this too? HDR for gaming was a brilliant step forward. It allows metals to look shiny, forests to appear green, and dark scenes to be more visible. To capture HDR correctly with OBS, you need to navigate to the Advanced tab. Ensure that the renderer is set to DirectX 11. If not, select it. The color format should be set to P0 10-bit, 2 planes, and the color space should be rec. 2100 PQ with the color range set to full. Unless your display supports higher settings, leave the SDR and HDR values as they are. Then go back to the Output tab and confirm that the profile is set to main 10. This ensures that nVidia uses 10-bit video capture. It is always recommended to use 10-bit video when capturing HDR content. Lastly, and of lesser importance, is the container format. The best choice would be NKV, as it does not require demuxing, which is the process of splitting the audio, video, subtitles, and other extras contained within. Additionally, if the recording fails for any reason, an MKV file will still be readable, whereas an MP4 file may not. If you plan to use applications like daVinci Resolve, NKV is the recommended format. On a side note, I encountered an issue where the native audio encoding of OBS would not load in daVinci Resolve, so I had to change it to 24-bit PCM, which imported successfully. Now that we have all the recording settings properly configured, it's time to add an input source to OBS. Click the plus arrow under the Sources tab, and you will see a list of input sources. The one we are interested in is game capture. Click on it, enter a name, and click OK. On the next page, we need to select the mode. Choose Capture Specific Window. Then, click on the window drop-down and select the name of the game's executable. In this case, it is GTA5. If you're capturing in HDR, scroll down to Color Space and select Rec 2100 PQ. Click OK. If you want to define a hotkey to start and stop recordings, go to Settings and click on Hotkeys. Then, customize the options to your preferred button, but make sure not to choose the same buttons you use in the game. Now that we have completed those steps, let's launch GTA and examine the frame times using MSI Afterburner to ensure nothing is being lost and that performance is as it should be. Take a look at that flat line. To be absolutely sure, take a drive around the map, cause some explosions, and create general havoc everywhere. Not only is it fun, but it also helps you confirm that everything is ready to go for the next time you need to capture something. Before we conclude, let's take a moment to appreciate the exceptional collaboration that brought this narration to life, including the remarkable capabilities of Bark and the assistance of ChatGPT. Bark, the transformative text-to-audio model developed by Suno, has lent its captivating voice to narrate our journey. With its advanced transformer-based architecture, Bark can generate highly realistic, multilingual speech, encompassing a vast range of languages and accents. Its ability to infuse nonverbal expressions, like laughter, sighs, and crying, adds a unique layer of emotional depth to the narration, making the storytelling experience truly immersive. And by my side, as your AI companion, stands ChatGPT. With its vast knowledge and natural language understanding, ChatGPT has guided and collaborated throughout this narrative creation. From providing insights on nVidia, OBS, and GTA5 to crafting engaging storytelling elements, ChatGPT has been an invaluable ally on this creative journey. Together, Spark, ChatGPT, nVidia, OBS, and the imaginative spirit of gaming have converged, shaping an extraordinary narrative experience. Together, as we part ways, may Bark's enchanting voice and ChatGPT's unwavering assistance continue to inspire your creative endeavors, from gaming adventures to immersive storytelling.